Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Just the Tip newsletter Win Wednesday interview. I'm really excited today because we have Manny Torres with us, and he's going to be telling us about his business, Growth Amplifiers, and how he's been using AI in that business too. So, Manny, welcome to Just the Tip.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Jack.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure to have you here. So, when did you first hear about the AI persona method in the community, and what was it that piqued your interest in AI?
Yeah, so I've been following Jeff for a number of years. We met several years back at TNC, so I'm always kind of following what he's doing. And when AI kind of came around, I knew that it was going to be something that was going to be a paradigm shift in marketing and in business. And of course, I saw that Jeff was putting some things out there, so I was starting to follow him. And once he had that opportunity to share the AI persona method, I said, I've got to jump in, got to check it out. And I'm really glad I did because it's been a big value to me and my business.
Right, so you would have been one of the first people in that community, I guess, then, right back at the very start.
Yes.
Yeah, and had you been playing around with AI much before that, or was that kind of the first step into the AI world and marketing?
Yeah, like most marketers, I'm going to play around with any new technology that comes out. I'm teetering with it. But that's one of the challenges. There's so many things out there and you've got other things that you're worried about. So it really helped to be able to follow a process, have other entrepreneurs, other business owners that were doing the same thing. So rather than having to know everything, you're able to start to pick and choose what other people are finding out, start to implement what's working, and it's really speeding up the process.
Yeah, I think having all of those different brains in slightly different areas, but all around marketing, sales, and these kind of business activities really gives you a lot of ideas because there's just so many different brains looking at it in different ways. So yeah, that's awesome. So in terms of your business, what do you do with AI with your clients on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we've been able to implement it. I think one of the big things that's helped our business is speed of implementation. The biggest challenge we always had was extracting information from our clients, then synthesizing that and then turning it back around into content or assets that could be used. So now with AI, that really speeds that process up. So I'm a digital marketer certified partner, and we used to do a 90-day growth accelerator. And, it was challenging for those clients to be able to come up with that information because they couldn't articulate what it was that their business was, who they served. And with the AI, we can start to pull that information, get little bits and pieces from them. And then they can see that and be able to say, yes, that's it, or let's adjust this. And it speeds that process up. So instead of taking 90 days to get all that content and assets, now we can do that closer to, 1 month, 3 weeks.
Wow, it's crazy. It's crazy how much of a difference it's made. And I think one of the things you've said there alludes to a point about if you're using AI on its base level and just going in and playing around with it, you're not necessarily going to get the results as you would with having a specific program, strategy, and framework around what you're doing, right? So how do you gather that information? Are you doing it by transcripts? Are they inputting stuff themselves? Like, how are you getting your clients to really tease out the information about their businesses that matter?
Yeah, so it's a combination. For our existing clients. We had a lot of that information compiled. We have their before and after canvas where we talk about who their ideal client is. But when there's a new client, we do that onboarding where we're just asking them some few key questions. And then we can follow those prompts, the different frameworks that Jeff's provided, ones that we can pull from Digital Marketer and apply with AI. And it just makes that process so much easier. And the great thing about it is they're amazed, right? Because they're busy running their business. They don't have time to figure out AI. They don't know about the frameworks. So when they've tried it, they don't see anything that looks like it's worthwhile for them to put more time into it. But when they see it work and they see something come out that sounds like them, that's speaking to their audience, then that light bulb switches off and they're like, yes, I can see how this can help my business grow.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there because obviously generic rubbish content coming out of AI is not going to do anyone any favors. And when most people play with it, that's what they get because they've not got any of this framework or knowledge or information behind it. Whereas when you're giving it people's actual voice and style that they speak, which can then be converted into a writing style, you're getting these awesome results. And I think it also, and it's a question for you really, do you think it helps your clients learn these concepts faster as well as getting it produced by AI?
Yes, I definitely believe it does because rather than them having to pull out of the air and think, they're able to see a list. And once it's much easier to select from a list and say, no, that's not it, no, that's not it, then to generate it yourself. So AI helps generate those ideas, generate the options, and then they can select and say, yes, that is, I could never think of that word, but that's exactly who my customer is, or that's exactly what I was thinking, or that's exactly the way that I would like to say it, but I just don't have the skills to be able to either do the copywriting or creatively think of it on the fly in a short amount of time when I've got 20 other things to deal with in my business.
Yeah, and I think what it does for the smaller and medium-sized businesses is absolutely incredible, because suddenly they've got access to these almost unlimited employees that can help them do all of the things that previously they didn't have time to do.
And even for the large companies, I did a training back in the spring for a large Fortune 500 company. And you would think that a company like that would have a lot of AI usage, but truthfully, only a few people in the organization were using it. And we just did a brainstorming session and used AI to generate that brainstorming session, created a little custom GPT and said, if you ever have a challenge where you need the team to come together to create ideas, you can follow a brainstorming framework, use a custom GPT to run through it. And they were amazed. They're like, wait, there's so many applications for how we can use this with the team, because, typically in a business, you're doing the things, you're not stopping to say, hey, what framework can we use and going to find it. But once you realize all you have to do is ask AI and say, hey, what are some different brainstorming frameworks, and then apply it, it makes it much easier.
Yeah, I feel like there's almost a bit of a reverse engineer going on with these things now, because you kind of think, okay, this is where I want to get to, but you're asking AI for all of the breakdown and processes to go through to get to that point. And there's huge value in even getting it to ask you questions to clarify your request. And I find you can get some really excellent results from that. So before we move on from big businesses, why do you think it is that some of these Fortune 500 companies are quite slow on the uptake when it comes to AI?
I think it's a combination of things. That particular company, they had a lot of fears about security. So one of the things we did was we used Copilot with them so that they felt like that data would be secure. I think the other thing is a lot of these larger companies have an older population, so they're a little fearful of technology. There was a guy that was nearing retirement, had never used AI whatsoever, and he came in, very adamant that he wasn't going to do it. And he's like, I don't even know why I'm here. And then at one of the breaks, he came in all excited. He's like, I started using this. I went in the break. I built a budget. I started, creating these things. And he was so excited. And he's like, looking forward to his retirement and being able to apply some of the things that he learned in that workshop to be able to do things once he was retired.
Wow. So it's even not in just a work sense. It's for him when he's finished working, he's going to carry on using it. And has almost got a new toy that can, make a big difference to his life outside of work as well.
Yeah. The big thing I imparted with them was that it was less about all the different things you can do and apply. It's like, what is the simple framework that you can follow with any problem to be able to have AI work for you? So it's, do you have a benchmark? Do you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish? And then once you get the first steps of AI providing prompts and information back to you, refine and adjust and then reapply. So it's a cycle that can help you continually get better results from what you're getting back from AI.
Right. So basically, you get an output, you refine it a bit, then you give it back to AI, and you get AI to refine it again and again and again. So you're almost like sharpening the tool to the point where you get something that's like 100 times better than the first output.
Yeah. And I think what happens with most people is they tried it once, they got a bad output, they wrote it off. So they just said, oh, yeah, it's, just big talk. But when they see someone do it properly, their eyes start to open and then they really start to see what's possible.
Yeah, and I think you'll be in the position where I am now, where I pretty much use AI for everything all day, every day. My first point of contact is to go to AI. Even if I'm like, I've got a load of items in the fridge and I'm not really sure what to make for dinner, for example, you just throw them all into AI and say, hey, give me some recipe suggestions. And there's even all of these little things that I think people don't quite understand outside of a business context.
Yeah, one of the exercises I did was took them outside of workplace ideas. We did go through some of the work ones that were some of the items that we had on a survey coming in, like what's the most important thing for you to learn. But then I said, let's just do something fun. So there was someone that was doing a cross-country trip to Montana from Florida. And we said, all right, what are the things you enjoy? What are some things that you're going to encounter on your trip? So, she had a dog. She likes camping. So it ended up mapping out a trip for her. And she was like, this is so me. This is awesome. So it was like a real world application, like you said, of just an everyday challenge that you have that in the past, what are you going to do? Ask on Facebook all your friends and then go like get a AAA trip book. There's all those different steps that you would have taken. And now it's like a quick 5-10 minute input and output from AI to get that built.
Yeah, and like you said, you're getting this super personalized experience, almost like you've paid thousands of dollars for someone to be a travel planner for you and do it that way,
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so awesome. So in terms of the future of AI, where do you see, not just for business and marketing in AI, but in general, what changes do you think we're going to see in the world over the next few years?
I try to stay focused on the now. I know it's going to change so much. I think some of the challenges that we have is people bounce around trying too many things versus refining and getting the things that they have now working. So that's really what we're focused on in our business is how can we simplify things, get those working, get those optimized. And then as new things start to come on and you can implement those a little bit at a time, it becomes less overwhelming because right now business owners have way too many things to worry about. So if you throw too much at them, they're just going to like shut you out. So we want to try and make it so it's simple. They see results. You can start to implement it and then add on a little bit at a time. And then as they get comfortable, you can start to expand. The real thing with the future, that's why this community is great, is because there are those people that have that time. They can go test new things. And then when they say, hey, these projects in Claude are rocking it, then you can go, all right, now it's time that I can go over there and start to implement that because now I've had, verification from other professionals and entrepreneurs that they've been able to implement that and seen the results. And now we can take that and bring it to our clients and say, hey, here's something that we've already tested and saw the results from. Let's go ahead and try this with you.
Yeah, I get that because there's so much out there. It's like an ocean of different apps and tools and projects that you can do. And all of these different things are always developing and updating all of the time. I mean, the amount of updates we've had in the last week or two from ChatGPT is insane. And I think you're right, seeing other people and what they're using with their clients and in their businesses themselves is a massive confidence booster. And for me, even projects is something I've recently used. I wasn't using Claude projects much. Now I'm in there every day because you've seen everyone talking about it. So I think, that's a very smart way of looking at it because we had enough SaaSes before, right? There was enough tools before AI and now it's a whole different ballgame.
Right. Yeah. It used to be AppSumo, trying all those. And, now we have AI, different applications of it. So yeah, the community has been great in terms of being able to identify those opportunities.
Awesome. So in terms of tools that you use on a daily basis, what's in your list, your list of tools that you couldn't live without on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I keep it simple, as I mentioned, ChatGPT, because that's the main one that our clients are comfortable with. Obviously, Claude is one that we use. Perplexity, sorry, is one that I've been using a lot more because it's a great reference tool. And for anyone that's a Xfinity customer, you can actually get a free pro account with it for a year through their Xfinity rewards. So that was cool just to test it out. But that's been one I've enjoyed using to pull research and do a lot of fact finding, or even shopping is a great tool for Perplexity. So those are the main ones. And then, I played around in high level with some of the AI tools that they've added with both the voice and the chat. So those are items that are the main ones that I would say are top of my list.
I totally agree. Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, that's pretty much my top three. And I think ChatGPT is like the client facing, Claude's what you use more for your copy and your own stuff. And then you've got Perplexity for the reference and research. So I think that is a solid list for sure. So Manny, if people would like to follow you, find out more about your business, check out your content, where's the best place to find you and to keep up with what you're doing? We'll put the links in the description, of course.
Sure. So our website is growthamplifiers.com, and mostly we work with B2B advisors. Those are CPAs, accountants, other people that are servicing business owners. We help them build a transformative business where they can have more ideal clients. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's my main platform of interaction. And it's just Manny Torres, and you can find me there.
Awesome, Manny. Well, thank you very much for joining us and sharing all of that today. Appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing how your business goes in the future.
Thank you so much, Jack.